And, of course, the average guy that was enticed. I assume Bernanke will probably be reappointed, but all that's going on is very, very good, and it will never be the same again. This is the first time in the history of the Federal Reserve hiring a lobbyist to lobby their case, and they're desperate to keep that system going forever. They even have put together some ads that are going to go into movie theaters as a public service announcement. You'll end up paying for and we should object to. But you know, they'll say, no, you're not paying. We're not going to tax you. We print our own money. Like that doesn't matter. And that's the whole point. They can create trillions of dollars, dilute the value of the currency, the value of your dollar goes down, the prices go up, distorts the economy. Who suffers the most? The poor and the middle class. Who suffers the most? Who benefits the most? Wall Street and the bankers. Even when the crisis comes, even when the collapse comes, a bubble bursts and everybody's panicked and they have to run around and do something, who gets bailed out? Wall Street gets bailed out. And, of course, the average guy that was enticed to buy a house that he shouldn't have been buying, they quickly lose their house and suffer the consequences and lose their job. But that is a consequence of the business cycle that doesn't come from free market capitalism. That comes from the Federal Reserve System. But you know, the other big subject this week, and I'm sure all of you were glued to the TV listening to the president give his speech on why you need to suffer more and why you might need to join up, and if you're not careful you might be drafted the way they're doing. We must prevent that from happening. We must change that foreign policy before they reinstitute the draft. But the big argument this week was, you know, how many troops should we send? They're still looking for what the reason we're there. They're trying to figure out, when is the war going to be over? What is the purpose? What is the goal? When are we going to get out? And they have no idea. There may be, that speech said maybe some troops would be removed in 2012. And it's not going to happen. The troops aren't coming home from Iraq either. They were supposed to have a vote next month, and that's been canceled. And every time they say we might move some troops down, they send in contractors. And even with this 30,000, if you add up some of the incidentals plus the contractors, there may be 50 or 60,000 more Americans over there. So there is no watering down at. Unfortunately, the doctrine that was established in the last administration, known as the Bush Doctrine, is alive and well. And the Bush Doctrine is the one thing in foreign policy that I feel is one of the worst things that we have done. It's been around for a long time, but now it is stated, it's clear, and the people should have been outraged when it was announced that it is now official policy of the United States that we can start wars, preemptive wars. That is not American, it's not constitutional, it's not moral, and we sure can't afford it. The other thing about the way we've been fighting wars is that just as our financial system is run by a secret Federal Reserve, you know, a lot of what we do in foreign policy is secret too. And I think of as this way, it's secret money and secret wars. We have a CIA that in truth, if you have a free society and you have a republic, you don't need a CIA. You're allowed to have intelligence gathering, but you don't have a CIA running secret wars. The recent stories out now about Blackwater. Blackwater received $1 billion. The guy, Prince, the guy that ran Blackwater, was a CIA agent whose job was to go over there and murder people. I mean, it is an outrage, but it isn't like the CIA hasn't been doing this for a long time, because we're not allowed to know even in Congress. We can't find out about the CIA, and we can't find out about the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve can do deals with other central banks and other governments and other financial institutions. Who knows what they can be financing? But we do know that the CIA was involved in the Iran-Contra affairs. They get involved in wars. They get involved with drugs. Karzai's brothers involved in drugs. But one thing that we could do about that to make sure there was no incentive is get rid of the war on drugs. We'd get rid of the drug dealers, and we'd get rid of the incentive for our own CIA to be involved with drugs as well. But you know, the CIA did this in 1953. There was an elected leader in Iran. There was a movement there that was serious and more of a democratic process, actually electing somebody. So what did we do? We sent our CIA in with to assist the British at the time and overthrew Mossadegh. And we think they don't remember those kind of things. So by '79, they still remembered it. There was a revolution. We literally drive their radicalism, and of course, it ends up badly. Our problem is the Muslims and the Arabs. They never forget. Americans always forget. We never remember anything. If we did, we wouldn't be in Afghanistan for sure. But you know, we have a position of perpetual war for perpetual peace. I think Smedley Butler is right when he says war is a racket, and certainly war is the health of the state. There's so many reasons we don't need war, and there are so many reasons we don't need the Federal Reserve that finances these wars. If you didn't have the Federal Reserve printing money and creating credit, satisfying the members of Congress who vote themselves largesse, that is re-election, by passing out the goodies here domestically and passing out so-called free programs, and also the financing of wars. This would all come to an end. Can you imagine how quickly it would come to an end if we just got rid of the withholding tax and made every single citizen pay everything every month for everything we spend up there? The whole thing would come crashing down in no time because the American people would wake up. But the withholding tax system is very, very deceptive, and of course inflation is even more deceptive. But what we really need to do, and it isn't that complicated, just like I said about the monetary policy, the correction is just, look to the Constitution, and at least look to the original intent of the Constitution and the distortion of the 16th Amendment. We could do this country a lot of good and help this economy tremendously if we just got rid of the 16th Amendment, got rid of all income taxes.